Hey everybody! All right, so we got another how-to here. Now that we're going into the middle of the summer, things are going to start getting big. Now we're talking tomatoes. These can get really top-heavy. It's going to need a few different ways on how you're going to want to secure the plant. This way, as soon as they start to fruit, they hold up nice and strong. Nothing's breaking, nothing's falling off. We're good to go. So the first one that we're going to show you here is the Florida weave. So we've got some posts. These are about 4 footers. They're in front of our 3 plants on the outside. Pick this because it's nice and short. We'll show you really quickly. All this is you're going to really just do a figure 8, wrapping the yarn from one post around the other, back and forth, all the way until you get down to the end of the row, and then you're going to come on back. So that's the thing we're going to focus on here today. So I'm just going to show you on how that is. So I've secured the yarn here. I use a surgeon's knot. This way it's nice and tight. And then my favorite, the staple gun. This way at least we know the yarn isn't going to slide from where it was originally placed. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start on the left side of the post here. I'm going to go and I'm going to wrap it around onto the right side of the other post directly across. Nice and easy. I'm going to wrap it once all the way around just to make sure it's nice and secured tightly. Okay, so now I'm going to go from right to left, the complete opposite of what I've done. Just move around here. Just lower this because we have obviously a different type of growth. This is those Dirty Girl tomatoes from California. So now we're going to wrap that around nice and tight, make sure it's nice, nice and taut. Now, again, on the left side, we're going to go to the right. Okay. So we've made our first pass here. I'm going to show you what we're going to do on the way back. So I'm going to keep this nice and tight the whole way across. So now we're just going to wrap around. What you'll end up seeing is, if you want to come on in close, the yarn is going to make sure that this stays nice and straight, nice and tight. So we're going to do the same thing. So on that side, we're on the right, and we're going to go left, making sure, as always, to keep it as tight as possible. You're going to wrap. Don't mind the rogue tomato in the back. Don't know where that came from. Okay, so from right to left, nice and tight, keeping in line. So I'm going to show you also what I'm going to do here. So this one started there. Sorry. And I'm going to come across. And then, as you can see, what will happen is this is going to straighten out. Now we're going to do this all the way across, so this whole plant will be nice and straight by the time I'm done. I'm going to get it off that branch right there, that little clipping. Okay, so wrap this around a few times. Make sure it's nice and tight. Now there's 2 options here. Oops. What we could do is I could cut it here, tie another knot, but what I'm going to do is just work my way up the post. And we'll rinse and repeat. All right, so we finished this. As you guys can see, we have the 2 layers here. All right, this is all set. You can clearly see now, once we start to keep that, as it grows, it'll build into it and really start to straighten itself out. Not a problem. And as you can see, obviously the second row is above these other 2 plants. That's fine, because as they grow, we're really just gonna train them. We'll open this up and we'll literally just push the leaves straight through, keep it nice and in line. Now, like I said, I'm gonna use a staple gun. This is just to make sure the yarn doesn't slide up and down as you know, if it gets water in. So here, bam, drop it in. Now it's locked in. You can do that a couple times, whatever you want, whatever you're most comfortable with. I just figured it'd be a good way to make sure that this doesn't move. I think we're good from there. That's the Florida weave.
So other than the Florida weave, Dylan and I have always used tomato cages in the past, and I feel that tomato cages are notorious for not working out as intended. So what I thought is that we would use it, I guess, in a different sense and a different purpose other than what it is for, because you always think with the tomato cages that you want to put these pointy ends right in the ground. However, that doesn't make sense because it's a more narrow base of support. So as the tomato grows, as Dylan has mentioned, the tomato plant grows, it gets very top heavy with all the fruit, especially with your beefsteaks or your aromas. And then with the tomato cage, the whole tomato plant kind of falls over, which is what we've experienced in the past many, many times. So the idea is to have a wider base of support. So what we're doing this year, as you can see, we flipped it upside down, just secured it with a couple of rocks, and we're just going to see how this plant grows. And hopefully as it grows, here's a sucker.
Oh, we got a serious storm rolling.
As it grows, we will just secure the plants over the rings. And if she keeps growing, if she keeps getting bigger, we're hoping that's the case, then perhaps we can just use some twine and make more rings as she grows. But this is kind of a fun little experiment to see if using a wider base of support will be more effective versus the traditional narrow base of support. So we will keep
All right,
it up.
so we got a massive storm rolling in. We got to make this quick. Listen, just want to kind of give you guys the overview. We're going to try a few different ideas, a few different ways about supporting the tomatoes throughout this year. Really kind of just be an experiment for us, let you guys know what we really found the most useful. Obviously, the cages, these are great, but they are expensive. You get a metal one like this, honestly, it's 20 bucks a pop. We've got 45 tomato plants here. It's a lot of money to be spending. Whereas you can go and spend $3 on a 200-yard piece of yarn here, do the Florida weave, give that an approach. We've never done that before, so I'm very excited to see how that's going to turn out. We'll definitely make sure to let you guys know what we prefer as the season comes to an end. So stay tuned, stay updated, hit the like button, love the comments. Thanks guys, appreciate the support.